What's up, my Beardos and Weirdos? Today we're diving right into r/EntitledParents, the crazy popular video series on my channel that all of you really enjoy. We have two stories to jump through. One about a set of parents that believe they are entitled to their child's money despite their child not living at home for several years and being an adult. And the next story is about an entitled parent that thinks BioShock the video game is definitely kinky porno. Alright, let's dive right on into it. My parents found out that I have money, wants me to give it all to them. I made this account just to post this because they won't stop bugging me. Backstory. So my parents disowned me for being an atheist. My family is very religious. They will lock at you like trash if you say you don't believe in a god. They kicked me out and didn't supported me through college, my last year of college, and I haven't spoken to them for almost 3 years now. Just a few weeks ago I got word from my cousin that my little sister got hospitalized due to dengue, so I went to visit her when she was about to be discharged. When I got there, it was just my sister in the room. I asked where my parents were, and she said that they were trying to raise funds for the hospital bill. Turns out my parents' medical insurance didn't cover most of the hospital bill and left a large charge out of pocket, around 26,000 Philippine pesos. If there are any Filipinos out there, you know this is a large amount already. Fortunately, I was able to save up a lot of the past year, so I went ahead and paid for it. When my parents came back, I told them it's already been paid, and that we're just waiting for the discharge orders. The first questions they ask is why I was there, and where did I get the money from. I explained our cousin told me what happened, and that I was saving money for my little sister's college. They didn't even thank me, and the next question they asked is how much money I have saved. I didn't give them the amount, but they insisted I should give it to them since my sister is living with them. I told them no, and that I will give it to my sister personally once she enters college. It's her last year of high school. That wasn't good enough for them. They kept saying they need the money, but won't even specify what the money would be for. I still didn't budge. A week passed it, and they still don't stop bugging me, calling me ungrateful to them as my parents and so forth, even asking my girlfriend to have her talk to me about giving them the money. This is unfortunate. I mean, where we are here, until you're in the latter end of your teens, your parents can request your money and legally have right to it as you are their child, and it goes towards benefiting the household. As a child, even if you're working, you're not generally paying towards the bills unless, you've agreed to do that with your parents or they've requested that of you. But seeing as this poster is not part of the household anymore, has been living on their own, and the parents disown them, it is wildly inappropriate for them to demand money. Also, it sounds like as they have already passed through college and now their younger sister is about to go to college and is ending high school soon, it sounds like the poster is also out of their teens, so I mean, I can't see any reason why they should give the money to their parents. Taking care of your sister was a really solid thing to do. Good for you, Opie.
What kind of sick porn is that?
Entitled Aunt tried to steal my computer and hits my mom. This is an exact copy and paste of a post I made yesterday that you all seem to like, but the mod's removed. Apologies for spelling mistakes and grammar mistakes. English is not my first language. Me equals me. EA equals entitled aunt. EK equals entitled kid. Mom equals mom. So, a little bit of background first. EA and my mom used to get along good. Well, as good as two sisters usually get on. But when EA had a kid, almost all contact was dropped between them, and now she only calls my mom to ask for, quote, a small loan of insert large amount of money here, or other favors like her driving down to look after EK for a day. She lives over 4 hours away. But, quote, you can't stay the night as I don't have room, and gets offended when my mom declines. Anyway, so as a sort of olive branch, my mom got quite ill a few months prior and had one of those moments where she didn't want any regrets when she died. My mom invited EA and EK around for a few nights so they can catch up and whatnot. So I'm waiting at the door, the car pulls up out front, and I open the door when she rings the bell. Me opens door. Hey, Auntie Mar,
Hold this!
Shoves bag in my face, which I take. I kind of write this off since it was a 4-hour journey with a, most likely screaming, child. My mom and EA proceed to exchange pleasantries, but I notice my mom is doing basically all of the niceties. Quote, how was your journey, etc. Not really important to the story, I just like to show that she's not a nice lady. Anyway, so a few minutes go by, I make some tea and hot chocolate for EK. He didn't ask for it, I was just being nice. EK.
It's cold.
It's steaming at the top, so I know he's lying. Me laughs awkwardly and sits down. EK blinks at me.
It's still cold.
At this point, I realize he's not joking. Me. EK, I can see the steam. It's not cold. EA.
Oh, he just watched Ratatouille?
For those of you who don't know, Ratatouille is an animated film about a chef rat.
And it's trying to be like the name of some character from the film? Be a dear and remake one for him.
Side note, from what I remember, his character never says the food's cold? But I could be wrong. I kind of sit still for a bit, not sure if she's serious. EA.
Now, please.
Laughs at EK, who gleefully holds up his cup. Now, it should be noted at this point that my mom let it happen since she was desperate to get on with her sister. But that will change later, don't worry. Me, knowing my mom wants this to work out, sure, whatever. I go into the kitchen and set down the mug out of view, rattle around with the spoons and jugs, and bring the same hot chocolate back. The kid is fine with it, but EA? Oh no. EA.
You didn't remake that. I just saw you put it on the side and bring it back out.
EK stops drinking.
Mommy, I want a hot one.
EA.
Don't worry, honey, you'll get a hot one.
At this point, I'm just annoyed. The kid was fine with it, but EA was just being a dick. Me. Well, the microwave is in there. Motions towards kitchen. Knock yourself out. So I don't cause a scene, I leave the room and go upstairs to my room. Now, recently I've started playing a new game on my PC called Bioshock 2. For those of you who don't know, it's a horror game that takes place underwater. Now, a key point to both this story and the game is that in the game there are little girls who run around called Little Sisters, and their job is to collect resources from dead bodies around various game levels. Each one is protected by a huge man in a diving suit known as Big Daddies, which are usually referred to by the Little Sisters as Daddy or Mr. Bubbles, for whatever reason, I don't know. And in the second game you play as one of these Big Daddies and have to defend these little girls whilst they harvest the resources. If you've played the game or are super intelligent, you probably know where this is going. Anyway, so I boot up the game and begin playing. A few minutes pass and I assume EK gets bored because I hear him scampering upstairs and, without knocking, enters my room. Me, knowing the game is quite gruesome and I shouldn't play it in front of him, pauses the game. Hey, could you please knock next time? EK.
I don't have to knock at home.
Me. You're not at home. Ignoring this.
What are you playing?
An adult game.
But you're not an adult.
Aha, you got me. I don't like him much, but he's a kid, and although he's annoying as hell, I do recognize that I've got to bear with him a little bit, since he's only about 5 or 6, and doesn't really know any better than to be annoying and squeaky.
Can you play some, please?
Not while you're here, mate. As I said, it's an adult game. He storms out, slamming my door behind him. I was a bit confused, since I, though annoyed, understood why I wasn't allowed to play certain games when I was his age. A few moments pass and this is where it gets a tad unbelievable, so fair enough if you want to call BS. In the game I set the little sister down and she begins harvesting the body, and several enemies attack, attempting to get the little sister, just as I hear footsteps coming up the stairs. I have a little eye roll as I know exactly what's about to happen. It's EA. She stands outside my door for a few seconds, I assume thinking of something to say, but I give it no thought. Just as she's about to walk in, without knocking I might add, the little sister in the game gets attacked and lets out a high-pitched, "Daddy!" asking me, her guardian, for help. Now at the time I didn't really think much of it, as I know full well what I'm doing, whereas all EA knows at this point is that I'm a 16-year-old boy and she knows full well what most 16-year-old boys are motivated by. Banging hand on door.
What the fuse is wrong with you?
Me. Huh? EA barges into room, which, if she thought I really was doing the thing guys do, is pretty creepy.
What the fuse did you show my angel?
Me. Pauses game. Oh, he asked to see the game, and I said no since it's an 18. EA.
Don't lie to me, you little shiz! He just came downstairs crying because you played an adult thing in front of him.
Me. What? EA, it's a game. EA.
I just heard a woman moaning in here. Don't lie to me!
What you heard was a character in the game. If you sit down, I'll show you. At this point, EK is at the door and wanders in. EK points to the pause screen.
That's it.
Me. I'll play some of it for you to prove it's not porn if you just sit down. Gestures to bed. I'd like to point out that I wasn't being aggressive at all during this. She's just screaming at me and I'm talking normally. Both of them take a seat on my bed. Me. You might want to tell EK to leave. It's a grown-up game. EA. Still angry, but a little quieter.
If it's good enough for you, it's good enough for him.
Me. Realizing that didn't actually make much sense. Plays the game anyway. Big mistake. Now I understand that I wasn't smart in this situation and I didn't really think it through. I then proceeded to show her and her little brat about 2 minutes of me blowing enemies' heads off with a shotgun and a huge drill. I did mention before that it was gruesome. I paused, turned around, and realized my mistake. EA looked mortified, however EK looked fine.
What kind of sick porn is that?
I was surprised. Surely she couldn't be that stupid. I was expecting her to flip out because I had shown it in front of her kid, but no. She still thought it was some kind of kink I had. Because why wouldn't you? I roll. Me. EA, it's clearly not porn.
I'm telling your mother right now, and we're taking your Xbox right now as compensation.
I decided not to point out that it was a PC, not an Xbox. EA points at my monitor and holds out her hand like she expects to be able to carry that, and I just give it over. What the fuse? No way. EK.
I want it, Mommy.
EA.
You can have it, sweetie.
To me.
Give it to me now.
Me. No! Get the fuse out of here, crazy lady! EA tries to grab the monitor, and I smack her arm away. EA.
Did you just hit my child, you fat slob?
Me. Fuse off now! EA storms downstairs, dragging EK by the wrist, and I hear her yelling at my mum downstairs, calling her a bitcha and whatnot for letting me have a computer for that filth. I hear a thud and rush downstairs, worried. Luckily, it was only EK having a tantrum on the floor. I'm watching from the staircase, and EA hasn't noticed me yet.
What kind of shizzy parenting are you doing? I demand to have his Xbox, and we're sleeping in his room tonight.
Mum. Look, can everyone please calm down? My aunt slaps my mum. This is where I lose my shiz. Now, I'm 6'1" and I'm taller than my aunt by about a foot. And I'm also not particularly muscly, but am quite big, and when wearing the correct clothes, can look like I am. Me, emerging from the staircase. Out, now. EA, ignoring what I said.
And you, listen here, buddy.
Out, now.
What?
Get the fuse out of my house now, and if you come back, I'll call the police. At this point, I'm about 2 feet away from her, and she realizes exactly how tall and supposedly muscly I am. It's also worth noting that I'd never have touched her or her son in a violent way, but she didn't know that.
You can't do that.
I can, and you and your little shiz stain you call a son, get out of my house right now, or I will make you.
We're family.
I was shocked at this. Like, how can she even consider making that excuse when my mum is currently crying with a big red mark on her cheek? Get out, now. EA, realizing she's been beaten, begins grabbing her things and tells EK to get his shoes on so she can tie them. No, out. Points to the door.
Yes, I'm getting his shoes on, you dicka.
Put them on in the car, now, fuse off. EA moves towards the door and I open it for her. She's grabbing EK's wrist and is practically dragging him along whilst he wails that he wants my game. I throw a bag she forgot onto the ground and slam the door behind me. I immediately check on my mum, who's sobbing quietly, clutching her face. She was fine, and I think it was mostly shock, but she was understandably devastated. She spoke to me later that night and gave me a huge hug, thanking me. Needless to say, we didn't hear from EA for several months until she apologized a few weeks ago and proceeded to ask for money. My mum blocked her. Thanks for reading the whole thing, if you did. I'd love to say that this story is fake, but unfortunately it is not, and I am related to that a-hole. Since everyone was asking, I'll just put it here. My mum's fine now. She was diagnosed with cancer and went through chemo, so it wasn't herself for a while. Normally she'd have hit her back, but she was mostly upset, not because the visit was a failure, but more because of what the visit represented. She's fine now. Oh, OP. Oh, I'm really glad that even at the age of 16, you're more than ready to dive in and look after your mum. You know, you only get one, unless you're really lucky and you get two. But you have to look after the mums in your life. And even when your aunt, an authority figure, tells you you owe her something or she deserves to get something, good for you for standing your ground. Thanks for the story. It was a good read. Alright, that was r/entitled parents. Thank you for joining me again for another video. This was a lot of fun to go through with you, and I really look forward every day to making these videos for you. So thank you again for watching and subscribing. We're crazy close to 300 subscribers. I think we're at 290 something, so that's great. I'm really just glad that each of you found a reason to stick around and watch these videos as I keep making them. Let me know in the comments below what you want to see next, and I'd be happy to make it. I look forward to speaking to some of you. I do get back to every single comment that is left, unless I don't, but I do my best to get back to all of you, so thank you all for keeping in touch. Alright, my Beardos and Weirdos, I'll see you in the next video, where we take it one topic at a time.